Imagine an elephant. What's the first part of that elephant that comes to your mind? Is it the tusks, the trunk, or maybe those impressive ears? It's all about how you perceive the elephant. Perception is a subjective, active, and creative process through which we assign meaning to sensory information to understand ourselves and others. Another person looking at the same elephant might see it in a completely different way than you do. This is because perception is unique to each person, with no two people perceiving exactly the same or perceiving 100% of all things at all times. This perception process happens thousands of times a day without us being conscious of it. Let's move past elephants and talk about people. The way we perceive others affects our communication with them. We say things like, "I understand your feelings," but there is no way we can feel exactly what someone else feels. We can only try to understand by how we select, organize, and interpret cues. Perception of others involves sensing, organizing, and interpreting information about people and what they say and do. We make instantaneous evaluations that cause automatic judgments of positive and negative reactions toward others, which occur outside of our awareness. We trust them similar to how we trust our senses, not realizing they are biased. The messages we send to others can affect their perception of themselves and can challenge communication with others. For example, Mary sees Bob as she is walking down the street. As she passes him, she notices the frown on his face, assumes that he is an unpleasant person, and crosses the street to avoid him. But Mary was limited in what she could perceive. The truth was someone had hit Bob's car and left the scene. Mary missed an opportunity to meet Bob because she misinterpreted his facial expression. There are 3 stages of perception: selection, organization, and interpretation. In selection, the first stage, we choose stimuli that attract our attention. We focus on the ones that stand out to our senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. About 10,000 bits of sensory information are available every second, and this is further complicated by our physiological, psychological, and emotional states. Take Barbara, for instance. She just walked into a gigantic shoe store to do some shopping. Out of all the shelves and counters in the store, her eyes are immediately drawn to the women's shoes. The shoes in this section are the stimuli that stand out in her senses. Now that Barbara knows where to start, she can move on to the next stage of perception. In organization, the second stage, we mentally sort and arrange the stimuli, information, so we can understand and make sense of it. We sort information by using proximity, similarity, and difference. Proximity means we tend to think that things that are close together or similar looking belong together. We also assume that things that are different from other things in a group don't belong. As Barbara began looking at shoes, her eyes were drawn to the women's section because of the similarity of the shoes. As she was looking at the shoes, she saw a pair of children's shoes, noticed that they were different and did not belong, and moved them out of the way. From the shoes in the women's section, Barbara chose some shoes. In interpretation, we attach meaning to the stimuli. Our interpretations are based on our values, needs, beliefs, past experiences, expectations, involvement, self-concept, and other personal factors. Factors that cause us to interpret differently from others include how involved we are with others, relational satisfaction, our past experiences, our assumptions about behavior, expectations, moods, gender, occupation, and culture, and our self-concept, or the way we think and feel about ourselves, strongly influences how we interpret our own behavior of the behavior of others. Barbara chose an expensive, stylish pair of shoes. Looking at the shoes reminded her that as a child, her parents could not afford to buy her nice shoes, and other children made fun of her because she wore department store shoes. Our perception of ourselves is made up of our self-concept, self-esteem, or an individual's evaluation of their worth and attitude towards themselves, self-fulfilling prophecy, or a prediction that directly or indirectly causes itself to become true, and self-disclosure, the way we reveal ourselves to others. To Barbara, the shoes represented the success and increase in self-esteem she's achieved since school, when bullies used to make fun of her clothes and shoes. Perception processes like these happen thousands of times a day without us being conscious of it. So the next time you go into a shoe store, think about what caused you to focus on that one pair of shoes you chose to buy. Let's review. Perception assigns meaning to sensory information through which we understand ourselves and others. We make evaluations of things that cause judgments which may or may not be accurate. This can affect our perception of others. There are 3 stages of perception. Selection is the first stage, in which we select stimuli to attend to through our senses. In the second stage, organization, we sort and arrange the information so we can make sense out of it. And finally, in interpretation, we attach meaning to the stimuli.